Hello everyone, this is AJ Moore once again to discuss with you a little about what I learned about consequences of freedom of speech with regard to technology while conducting my research. In this class alone, I have learned so many alarming real-life situations in regards to the everyday technology usage we utilize on a daily basis. From the discussion from my classmates on the discussion board alone, we learned about privacy issues with Google, WikiLeaks, major retail chains, the hospitality industry, just to name a few. And the biggest one, in my opinion, was the Equifax breach because it incorporates all our credit history information. Now, yes, all of these topics are of major concern, but today I want to discuss another growing issue regarding freedom of speech, especially in its regards to technology. Technological change produces new forms of conflict both socially and politically. In today's society, almost everyone is walking around with the means to upload basically anything within a few minutes. And with this goes freedom of expression in the United States as a constitutional right. So let's begin with a little background information on this constitutional right given to all United States citizens where we live. The First Amendment states, the First Amendment, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution guarantees freedom of expression. The amendment was adopted in 1791, along other amendments that makes up the Bill of Rights. It is the most basic component of freedom of expression without worry of government interference. It is a cultural symbol, even much so that it was written into the Constitution that it cannot be abridged. It protects specific rights, which includes all rights: freedom of assembly to come together, freedom of petition, we have the right to petition the court, freedom of presence, we have the rights to write, freedom of religion, and the most importantly, freedom of speech. Technological errors. Technological change produces new forms of social platforms and new ways of spreading information. And this new digital revolution, content creation, inevitable, creates conflicts between ordinary individuals and the information industries. In today's society, almost everyone is walking around with the means to upload basically anything within a few minutes. Cell phone provides the user with instantaneous ways to record, respond, and upload content from anywhere right at a person's fingertips. Responses to these posts can garnish thousands of responses and shares, or shall I say go viral, within seconds, without even knowing the validity of the information being shared from Google to numerous social media sites such as Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and emails, just to name a few. With the benefits of this immediate connection to information comes the challenges of the constitutional rights of protection the citizens of the First Amendment. Today, more than ever before, American travelers are doing business around the world are realizing that there are limits on the extent to which they can claim protection for speech. That Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court often has struggled to determine what type of speech is protected. There have been many cases throughout the years that have challenged the First Amendment, especially when it comes to the growing usage of the many different technological platforms we utilize. Technology has commanded a whole new look at freedom of speech and expressed in today's technological world. In 1996, Reno versus ACLU, with an unanimous decision, the Supreme Court extended the First Amendment to include written, visuals, and spoken expressions. What speech is protected? Of course, not all speech is protected. Speeches provoking action that would harm others, shouting fire in a crowded theater, for instance, is not protected. Freedom of speech also doesn't include the right to make or distribute obscene material even with the use of technology. Prohibited speech. Fighting words. Speech that would incite hatred or violence has been constitutionally prohibited. Advocating illegal activities. Speech that would encourage others to engage in illegal activities. Limitation placed on speech. Commercial speech, a specific type of speech. Obscenity is regulated and depending on the context can be prohibited. Defamation. Publishing a statement that is false, although proffered as fact, that is harmful to the reputation of another person or organization. Profanity. Different from obscenity, profanity can be regulated if it is integrated into speech that is clearly prohibited. Copyright, trademark, and patent. Regulated by law and given owner exclusive rights. Other are prohibited from speech or expression that infringe on an owner's right. Anonymity. With the ability of a lot of online communication platforms that are used by millions of people every day, anonymity, the ability to respond in such a way that no one knows who is the actual person making the comment. In other words, being anonymous. Being anonymous is closely linked to free speech and privacy in many ways and areas, especially since it's so easy for people who do not know you can gain access to your responses. Technology provides numerous ways for people to communicate and simulations, but with this comes the usage of this enhancement expression that are socially useful and those that are criminal in intent. The question of people make bogus accounts to express themselves anonymously has led to the proposal to outlaw anonymity. Courts debate on this and states that balance should be made on a case-by-case basis. Therefore, there has been a certain lack of consistency of approach. The activities that occur in the real world and in cyberspace are by no means a perfect one to no extent. The underlying question remains, where does privacy begin and where does freedom of speech end? Should writers and artists be able to express themselves in any way they choose, even if it is provocative and offensive? In America, sure, but they also expect the provocative expression will provoke, and what exactly it provokes is impossible to know. Each writer, artist, and publisher must decide for themselves which risk they are willing to take. Consequences. Freedom of speech does not mean the freedom from its consequences. The ideal of freedom of speech is one well worth defending, but it can only be guaranteed in a perfect world, and sadly our world is far from perfect. There must some stipulations people need to adhere to for self-responsibility. During my research of this topic, I found a Facebook quote from Brendan O'Neill that I would like to share. Brendan stated, "If the consequences of our freedom of speech is more speech, disagreement, argument, challenge, questioning, that is absolutely fine. These consequences are good, essential, in fact. But if the consequences are being no platform, or expelled from polite society, or sacked, or harassed so relentlessly that you stop saying what you want to say, or banned from Twitter, or arrested, or jailed, or shot, then that is unacceptable." Brandon O'Neill. This is my sentiment exactly. This is my sentiment exactly. A good opinionated debate is the cornerstone of our nation. But when it comes to the downgrading, harassment, and even illegal sentiments, it is best to refrain from response. International concern. Another issue is that new technology is making speeches that are made in the United States by American citizens accessible outside the United States, exposing the speaker to consequence for violating the free speech limitations set in international law or the domestic law of other countries. A number of countries around the world punish hate, and these Americans are therefore often forced to make a difficult choice. Exercising their free speech is guaranteed by the U.S. First Amendment and expose themselves to prostitution and other legal consequences while avoid or accept those free speech limitations to avoid the consequences of violating them. Social responsibility. The development of new technology is already playing a major role in society and is continuously gaining greater impact on a daily basis. Technology is becoming increasingly faster and more powerful and is gaining greater impact on the issue of freedom of speech in regards to technology. Our responsibility as productive citizens is to use our own implication on what and how we utilize the platforms. We must keep in mind that our daily usage of this technology has consequences. Whether anonymously or not, there are consequences to our action regarding freedom of speech. Thank you.